Former UN Ambassador John Bolton joins us. Ambassador?
Well, I don't think it's as serious as it is embarrassing at this point. The fact is that the Twitter and YouTube accounts of CENTCOM ought to be on a completely different system than the classified military account. They ought to be physically separate systems. It's possible that the information technology officers of CENTCOM are complete idiots, and they put this in a classified, a computer system where you could access classified information. If so, they should all be fired. I don't think that's what happened.
All right. Well, if there are, as you say, the idiots that did this, to put this there, I mean, how can we have any sort of sense of confidence tonight that those idiots aren't doing similar things?
No, look, we've made mistakes. Bradley Manning was able to download countless classified documents from a computer that shouldn't have had that capability. The military gave him access to it. But I think even more important than finding out specifically what happened here is to get a grip on this. Look, not every cyber attack is equal to every other cyber attack. Taking down CENTCOM's Twitter account is not the same as getting the president's nuclear launch codes. So instead of this great swirling mass of cyber attacks as if they're all the same, let's get a ladder of escalation like we have in the nuclear field.
Well, that makes sense, but there's also another sort of thought of it, is that if this is the tip of the iceberg, for God's sakes, open up our eyes. I mean, this may just be a good warning.
Look, it's serious. We know that the Pentagon has been the target of cyber efforts from China, from North Korea, from Russia, from Iran. American corporations have been as well. But the ladder of escalation is important. Vandalism, theft, intelligence, war and terrorism. Is this vandalism just because somebody got the YouTube account, or is it more serious? I think the attack on Sony was more serious than this. But that's my point. Let's get an understanding of what is really a vulnerability and what is an inconvenience.
Are we doing it?
I don't think we are. I mean, it may be in the classified world the great theoreticians like Herman Kahn and Albert Wohlstetter are out there. I don't see it yet. And until you get a grip on it, until you know what the ladder is, I just think there's confusion and fear that ought to be a warning to us, but is no guide for action.
You know, I've talked to people on Capitol Hill who are on all these intelligence committees, and they never give me any classified information, but they've scared me. They have said that there are real serious things going out there. We're not ready. So naturally, I'm scared. I have no more information. I don't think they're deliberately trying to scare me, but they say this is serious.
I think because the thinking has not gone into what it means for this capability to exist. The most frightening thing is what Dempsey said, where we have a dominance in every other aspect of warfare. We're simply equal with a number of other nations and maybe terrorists around the world in the cyber space. That is a problem for the United States.
Why is this embarrassing? You said in the beginning this is embarrassing.
Because it's the central command, for God's sakes. It's all that stands between us and utter chaos in the Middle East, and they can't even defend their Twitter account.
But I guess, but on the other hand, it is a Twitter account. I mean, really?
It's not the Death Star. That's the point. But if you're going to be on Twitter and you're CENTCOM, you're the American military, you ought to think, can we protect this against this kind of hacking? It's a kind of mindless rush into social media without thinking through the political implications. So that's why they're embarrassed. Is it serious militarily? I don't think so.
Think it really an ISIS connection, or just some vandals using ISIS to try to scare people?
Well, we don't know, and that's something we need to find out. But that's my point, is somebody says CENTCOM has been hacked, and the next thing you know, we're at DEFCON 1. It's just not a realistic response.
What about the fact that there is some information about some of the top brass? I mean, that didn't come from Twitter or YouTube. That came from someplace else.
Who knows where it came from? Some of the information clearly they got from other websites.
That wasn't given away. I mean, that had to be hacked someplace.
And I would say it again. If they've put the Central Command's Twitter account in the classified system, they're idiots. I don't think that's what they did. I hope it's not.
I hope so, and not as well. Anyway, nice to see you, Ambassador.
Thanks.